Just like I said in my community post, I'm floored by all the comments I've gotten for my latest MK video, all the responses, all the feedback, compliments, as well as the criticism. So we're going to be responding to the comments all night video. Those reactable, and yes, the guessing game on the direction sucks, but there are tough signs on which throw you should tech because of positioning. So you see these opinions a lot, especially when it comes to the criticism, right? This is another complaint on what I said about throws. When I've never been a defensive mechanic, you didn't lift any defensive option, duck OS throwing, and the fact that you could tech them on reaction. Like, he says all this on paper. It's a good comment. Like, thanks for commenting. I just kind of disagree in terms of how it plays in the real game. Because if you examine all this stuff on paper, then he's right in terms of you can 50-50 and stuff. But it's like, where are you starting? Where are you initiating the throw? The noob can 50-50 you from half screen and kill you, and that's fake and reactable. Okay, but no one's just doing this move in training mode. You gotta imagine a good player is playing noob. A decent player in fighting games, they're gonna change up the timing and prevent you from option selecting. The problem is the grab itself is a 50-50. It's a non-option selectable 50-50. It's not in the string, it's the grab itself. So that means that if I'm standing and I approach you, then I can grab, and then that's a 50-50. There's no option select for that. This isn't like a command grab from a combo like I showed with Peacemaker, right? This is just a grab. So all I have to do is approach you and then either attack you with a mid or grab you or do a cameo. I have multiple options to where there is no option select for that, because one of my options, grab, is in itself a 50-50. So when it actually plays out in the game, then you'll notice that people don't normally duck grabs. They just take the mix. Let's look at this example. And Honeybee, obviously a great noob Cybot player. And look at this. Attack, 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 attack. Right? He knows noob. Grab. So he's not, this isn't an option select. They're going to be doing grab from a neutral standing position. His combo completed, then he grabbed. So here, look at that. That person just raw grabs like I said would happen. And again, I'm gonna show you more examples, but the more I watch gameplay, the more I'm like, I don't see anybody ducking a grab. They just eat the mix, which is exactly what I thought would happen. And obviously for me playing the game, I don't remember ever my grab getting ducked. And I faced people who are way better than me who kick my ass. Okay, I finally found one. I saw one duck, finally, right here. So I'm not being disingenuous, I do see one, but it's very rare. Normally, again, okay, if we were to do a scoreboard, then that's like 1 out of 5, you know.
That completely says no to my...
But every time I grab them, it's usually always successful, you know, which shows you that it's a very overpowered mechanic. And again, some people do agree. Also, if you think about it, for my example of grabs, the dig jabs, I'm just gonna call it the Tekken name. Well, that's a mechanic that I missed. And that essentially works like how I want grabs to work, is the dig jab, like that, which can be used both offensive, defense, and it's a versatile move that can interrupt, right? So again, the fact that that move is so necessary, that proves to you that there's an imbalance happening. Because my whole thing about the video is like, you don't need to constantly dig jab. You don't need to constantly do combo breakers. You shouldn't need to do that. You don't need to, you shouldn't need a band-aid to a problem. Just fix the problem itself, you know? And make the gameplay more balanced to where you don't need these exceptions. Agree with the points of the worst elements of modern AAA fighters rolled into MK1, but disagree about your comments on throws. The throws block strikes throws. It's the typical FG RPS system. And this is the comment where I want to explain here. Another throw comment. I think he has this down right. I do have it reversed. It is traditionally a offensive mechanic to nullify blocking. This is true, but the importance and usefulness of throws depends based on what category of fighter you're playing, in my opinion. It's kind of complicated because there's so many fighting games, right? But once fighting games transitioned and moved away from the traditional environment, or at least a segment of it split, or just faster fighters with more offense, then throws started to be more so effective on defense. In this context, when it comes to Mortal Kombat, even my brother, who's an anime fighter veteran, he grew up playing all the old school anime fighters, I showed him MK1 gameplay for the first time yesterday, and I showed him my video and other tournament videos, and he said that, oh, this is an anime fighter. Oh, this, I would be right at home with this. He had a preconceived notion of MK being, you know, more like a Street Fighter, something he's not into. But he watched MK1 video for the first time, and he watched this match when it comes to Honeybee fighting this Omni-Man player. And he's like, wow, this is exactly like the games I grew up with. He compared Honeybee sending out his cameo to do like the low portal and then mixing that up with the overhead. He said that's exactly what we used to do in BlazBlue. you know, Chrono Phantasma and Continuum Shift when it comes to Carl and using the assist of Carl. That's exactly what you do there. The exact same strategies in BlazBlue can be used here. So to him, it immediately was recognized as an anime fighter. If you look at anime fighters, then typically the grabs, if you think of a game like BlazBlue, then naturally the game speed is extra fast and characters can move fast, and that's on the system and not their mechanics. And with their mechanics, they can move even faster, right? Obviously, it's very easy to apply pressure. So here on these type of games, you have quick grabs, you know? Which, it's true that it does have the system of the throws, punches, and grabs. It does have that system, but here, because of the faster grabs, then you can use that to get someone off. It's both, right? But it's, in my opinion, is more equal rather than tilted towards offense. So here, because of the game speed, then it'd be hard to react to grabs, right? But at the same time, grabs is only needs a single button to break a grab, you know? Already have crazy stuff, right? And then you think about Bang Shishigami, like what MK relies on, which is the individual character techniques, and you can see that it's OD, you know? So here's like very necessary for a fast grab, you know? But if I were to get into the other characters and you would actually play a game like this, then you'd know that just as important as breaking down this guy's defense, if I'm at the corner and he's pummeling me, it's quick enough to be used for defense. This is all I'm saying. The faster the speed is, the more it's balanced for offense and defense, you know? But when we start to get to more even crazier games, like a Marvel's Capcom 2, you're gonna see that it's very helpful for defense. So this is a really good point about Tekken's grabs, right? Look at Tekken 8, which I have set up right here. Then normally a jab is 10 frames. And then every other move is slower than that. But the fastest attacks typically are 10 frames, right? But the majority of grabs are 12 frames, you know? So still, like, MK is similar in speed when it comes to MK being 7 frames for the fastest move and 10 frames for the grab. But here it's closer to the speed of a grab. Even though I would argue, like the comment said, Tekken works more traditionally when it comes to the throw, punch, block scenario, right? When it comes to grabs being to break down your defense. If you think about it, Tekken, despite having so many moves, defense is stronger in this game. Because at the end of the day, I don't have to get hit by anything, right? Like if they do a strings, if they do lows, I can block all those things. And most lows are reactable too. So defense is naturally stronger in Tekken. So in this game, you'd want a grab that's primarily an offensive tool, which means the speed makes sense, you know? That's the Tekken aspect, is you actually do need something to break down the opponent's defense. The people in my comments are talking like as if this is a Tekken. You guys are the ones who are comparing more than me, right? MK's offense is better than this game. But in all of these games I'm showing you, none of these grabs are 50-50s. For virtually everybody else in the game, you're able to break the throw, as long as you see which arm is coming out, right? Not only that, but it's nice and slow in 12 frames. Comparatively to a Street Fighter MK, that's a slow move. So it's nice and reactable for you to do that. But grabs vary as well. So you have something like this, to where this is 11 frames. And if you do a far reaching grab, then that should be 15 frames, like that. You can see on the bottom left. But then you have certain people, they can do a 10 frame grab, like that. So that's 10 frames. And it's funny, exactly like I say, if you play Tekken, then this is often interrupts opponents. So that can be used as like a jab, because it's as fast as the fastest jab. So Tekken kind of has everything going for it. It has throws that can be used straight up as offense into breach defense, and it also has interrupting throws. And obviously for every one of these throws, they don't work. So it doesn't matter if you're guarding or you're not guarding, you're able to duck a throw. He's either doing a 1+2 or he's doing a 1 break, right? So if I can see it, then it's 1. See that? And I didn't get that time. It's difficult, and like MK, I can just do a raw grab. So pretty hard to option select that, which means the next line of defense is parrying the grab. So if you make that 50-50, then it just doesn't work. See what I mean? Something like that. So yeah, you can do it on reaction, right? But yeah, not gonna get every time, you know? The power is in your hands, the player, not in the system of the game. It's in your hands. You can parry it if you have the reflexes, and you can train that. I'm only comparing because despite there's so much going on when it comes to Tekken's throw system, it still feels fair. you're rewarded if you learn to react to the hand that I'm breaking. For a game like Street Fighter 5, think about this game, then jabs, from what I looked up, are 3 frames, right? And grabs are 5 frames. 1 frame slower than 2x KO, so it's a pretty fast grab. It's not fast in the old school sense, but it's a balanced grab. And it's funny because if you think about it, here the command grabs are arguably more broken than MK1, right? I go here and I go playback recording, and he does his command grab like this. I can't tech it, right? And I can't even crouch under it. So you would say that's even more broken than MK1. But the only thing about it is that this game by itself is faster than Mortal Kombat, right? If you think about my dash speed, she can dash faster than actually doing wave dashing on MK1. And that's her regular dashing, you know? Not only that, but jabs on MK1, at least for Noob Saibot, my fastest was a 7 frame jab, right? But jabs here are on average 3 frames, you know? So moves are faster in this game. So you can get away with the more broken grab. That's the whole thing about any of these modern fighters. If the game speed with MK1 was faster, there would be no video. I wouldn't have any complaints. Because game speed allows you to naturally do neutral and then bait out when he's gonna do this. So the faster the gameplay, the less that's effective. So I have enough time with a 3 frame grab, I have enough time to just not be in the range of that, right? So here's a 5 frame grab, and it's more balanced. And so this is a better example, more of a 90s fighting game, to where the reason why I showed BlazBlue is because MK1 feels more like an anime fighter. So the grab example, to where I said it works as a defensive mechanic, applies more so for 90s fighting games, to where the gameplay was even more crazier. And aptly so, the grabs are faster, right? You can move, and you can do stuff like this, right? And again, most likely the developers didn't even intend to do this, but many times for games like these, then the grabs are extremely fast, you know? Which I don't know the exact speed on that, but that feels between 0 to 2 frames, you know? So you'll find that when you watch MVC2 videos, people who have good reflexes and they're getting battered by somebody like Magneto or somebody like Sentinel, then they'll grab them out of their offense. And imagine if this game had the same grab speed as a MK1. So oftentimes I don't play high tier, so I play somebody like Charlie. So when I'm often getting comboed and attacked by somebody like Magneto, then a lot of times I'll grab them out of stuff just through reflexes. Bam, and then it leads into a combo, which isn't easy. It's not built into the moveset, but I can combo off this, you know? So something like that, you know? Or if I catch them in the air, I'll chase a dummy to jump, right? A character like Magneto or Sentinel will be comboing you to death in the air, but if they drop it or miss it, then you're able to interrupt them with a air grab. Then it still takes timing in order to combo with it, you know? It still takes timing. There's no universal aspect of grabs. It just depends on what the character's grab can do. Some grabs you can combo, some grabs you can't, and none of it is easy, you know? Even more so for Hulk. One of my main strategies with Hulk is to interrupt offense of an opponent by jumping and meeting them in the air and grabbing them using reflexes, right? So if I do here, I go to jump. This is one of my main combos with Hulk, because obviously he's big and he doesn't have really a good anti-air, if you think about it. So this is a good anti-air, right? Or you do the complete heavy one. But if they block it, then you're dead, because the whole time he's coming down, I can't block. When they jump in on me, I like to grab him in the air, like that. And then obviously you already know what I can do after that. I do that combo every time when I catch him in the air with a grab. And as you can see, for something like T-Bone, then, because the fact that her grabs a throw means she can combo her, right? So again, you'll say, okay, aren't you proving that grabs are offensive? I think the better thing to say is that grabs are more versatile in an anime fighter situation, which MK1 falls under. Grabs are more versatile for both offense and defense. So if Magneto has a grab that's very quick and effective, and I have a grab as T-Bone that's very quick and effective, then that just limits rush down, aggression, you know what I mean, brain dead. That just limits all this, because anytime I can get threatened to be grabbed, both I can threaten to grab him and he can threaten to grab me, you know? So for faster games, that's necessary, you know? That limits just making it very unfair and very toxic, corrosive gameplay. So that's really the keynote here. Grabs are more versatile and they can be used to interrupt both an offensive player and a defensive player.